Hello, and welcome to NSA Carolinas Speaker Spotlight. I'm Anagha Agte, a newer member of NSA Carolinas, all the way from Austin, Texas. I'm so excited to introduce you, my dear friend, and my accountability partner for last 8 months, Michelle McKown-Campbell. Michelle has helped me move ahead, grow, and celebrate every step of the way. Please help me welcome Michelle McKown-Campbell.
Thank you so much. Wow. It's so good to be here, Anagha, and thank you so much for the invitation to be at Speaker Spotlight.
You are very welcome. So Michelle is the powerhouse behind Activate the Awesome, and she is leading the re-engagement revolution of our time. So Michelle, tell me a little bit about your journey from corporate to Activate Awesome, and because you have spent 25 years in corporate.
I did. I did. 25 years in HR. And had I not have had that bottle of wine that made me and my now husband realize that there was a whole wide world, big wide world out there, my business may not have ever started. But we moved from the UK to North Carolina about 8.5 years ago. And because I couldn't work for nearly 3.5 years with visas and then the pandemic and all of the things, through that time, I had a moment where I just thought, why is it people don't realize how awesome they are? They're missing out on opportunities. They're not communicating, how good they are. Why? I had a rant in my journal and I wrote it out because you haven't started doing the work. And that is where Activate the Awesome started. At that point, it was just about, okay, I will use my HR skills and experience to help others. So coaching, I didn't know there was a speaking industry. And somebody happened to mention, have you ever thought about being a professional speaker? And I joined Toastmasters. I was introduced to NSA Carolinas, and I have never looked back. It was an awesome opportunity.
Oh, that is so great to hear about your journey, not from only from UK to US, but your own personal journey and how it changed your life.
It really did. It really did. And, I remember turning up at my very first NSA meeting, sitting at the back of the room because I really didn't know if I belonged, because I would say, I've never spoken before. And I remember somebody taking me to one side and saying, Michelle, stop this. Because you've worked in HR for 25 years, you've presented, you've delivered workshops, you've created workshops, you've been coaching for all that time. That is not a beginner. And so it was through the community that really helped me develop my skills. Yeah, it's been phenomenal.
So tell me a little bit about what you do in your Activate the Awesome and how people find their transformation in their life.
Yeah, so Activate the Awesome is about first discovering your awe, the AWE of awesome, so you can connect with yourself. So that's the S and the O, and then really be inspired by the M and the E in awesome, which is who you are right here, right now. And so I could go out and speak to people and they will feel awesome when they leave. But I've been to many a conference where I go and I leave with a longer to-do list than I turned up with. So I feel great, but 2 or 3 days afterwards, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I've got more to do. So Activate the Awesome, we do the work in situ. It's an experience. It's about the participant, the audience, gathering the undeniable proof of who they are. And I have my tree here because in my workshops, we go full color. We start this journey. Re-engagement is about looking at our tapestry of awesomeness. And when I say re-engagement revolution of our time, I truly believe It is now. Now we have to re-engage with who we are so we can communicate and show up in the very best versions of ourselves. Yes, AI is here, but do you know what differentiates us from AI? Is this, our awesomeness. Everything that we already have, our experiences, our skills, how we see ourselves, how we feel, that differentiates us from the robots. Okay? And that's what we need to tap into. And so everybody that comes to a keynote, a workshop, a fireside chat, whatever it may be, gathers the undeniable proof. So why would I tell you? You'll go, yes, that's great. I feel awesome. And then you'll go and tell yourself that you're not. You gather the undeniable proof, and there is no denying it then. Then there's no excuses. You've got to do what you said you were going to do. And so that's what I bring to my audience, is an experience in full color.
So that is so amazing to hear. And your voice is telling me stories. So would you like to tell a story of transformation, whether it is in corporate environment, in a team, or an individual person?
Yes. So many. I mean, the actual craft itself started because I had a mum reach out to me about their daughter. Their daughter was had a disability. They were on the spectrum of autism, although not diagnosed, but knew they were on the spectrum. That 19-year-old had a friend that had tried to commit suicide. And so mum reached out to me and said, can you help? I've been told you can help. And I'll be honest, I thought, can I? This seems a little big for me, but I couldn't say no. I knew I couldn't say no. And I knew that that person needed to see their awesomeness. And so I took all my pens and my color pieces of paper. That person told me for 20 minutes all the things they couldn't do. And when we started to create all the things they could do, their whole perspective changed. Now, that person thought they couldn't live independently, didn't think they were going to get a job, didn't think they had any skills. We created their tree, and it was absolute undeniable proof that yes, they can. And that enabled that person to then go searching for pieces of their trunk, pieces of leaves, and gather that information. Now, in the corporate setting, I remember being told, if you do a keynote, it's a one and done. It's unlikely you're going to get repeat business. And what I would say is Activate the Awesome has been in organizations 3 years in a row, because we start with the activation, and when employees see how much they already have and they re-engage with themselves and then re-engage with the people in the room, I come back again, and we keep building on that. And what's been amazing is working with an organization where I would have an employee come up to me and say, I've always thought about applying for this job, that I didn't think I had the skills. Now I know I've got the skills. I'm going to apply and speak to my manager. And then the next year I came back. I got the job, she said. She came running up to me. I got it because I had the confidence to have the conversation. And now I could see how I could communicate to my team lead why I needed to be considered for it. And so when I talk about re-engagement and activating the awesome, it's really seeing and building confidence in your teams. So your teams then know, firstly, reconnect with their why they said yes in the first place to the opportunity. Know that they do not need to leave. They've reconnected with their why, so they've got this new enthusiasm for the work that they're doing. And then they're looking to the future and not just thinking, what role can I have, but how can I speak to my manager and start creating this path to, for longevity with an organization. And that's when life gets really exciting, when you go back time after time and keep building. What I'd also like to add to that I never expected is, because of my HR background, what I've realized is, and noticed in these, in my workshops and in my keynotes, is that HR teams, some of them, not all of them, but they've started to close their laptops. And I know as an HR practitioner, we were always working with one ear on the workshop or the keynote speaker because we've booked them, but we're doing our work at the back. And what I started to notice as each time I've gone back is the laptops have closed, and they've come up to me afterwards and said, I didn't realize how much I needed that. And so it just gives me joy because as an HR practitioner, I know how tough it is. I know that we have to have this barrier between them and us. And I know that they implement all of the initiatives. They bring in the speakers. They're thinking about how can they serve the organization as a whole. But they very rarely do anything for themselves. And so when I'm talking about the re-engagement revolution and activate the awesome, it starts with HR. And so having them in the room, they don't even realize that it's them I'm really speaking to activate first, so that they then have the knowledge and the skills and the support to activate their organization.
Wow, that is a huge impact for organizations to retain their employees, but keep the positive energy and reduce toxicity at work.
Absolutely. I think that is what I call the re-engagement revolution of our time. Too much is talked about with regards to disengagement. 7 out of 10 employees are disengaged at this moment in time. That is, if we just twist the perspective, that's a huge opportunity. And it's not just in the people. How many organizations have a re-engagement strategy? I would say 0. And so they have, this is an opportunity to take a pause in a fun, creative way, and then look at not just their people, but their processes and their policies, and re-engage what is working, not just sticky plasters on top of, cuts and bruises, but real pause to implement strategy moving forward. And that's when life gets really exciting. Their people, when they hired them, were fully engaged. And we have to be open and honest that as we go through the life cycle of an employee, at some point we're going to get a little disheartened and we need to be picked up again. There are also positive influences all the way through the organization that feel unseen, unheard. And so being able to spotlight those as well. I am a positive impact mapping strategist. And so I get diagnostics through the organization to show them who their positive influences are, so that then what they're able to do is pull them into projects, because they're their change makers, and really engage people at all levels of the business. And so it really is the opportunity of our time. It's not about just they all leave and we replace. Let's re-engage what was already there, because they had value when we hired them.
So, theme for our NSA Carolina chapter for this year is the next chapter. What is in your next chapter that you are seeing as you take this to the next level?
Yes. So next chapter for me, I mean, it's huge. I am just, I think, three and a half years in to this. And it's been a phenomenal journey. So my next chapter is about fully all in to the community. And I love how we have been working together, and how we met, because it was part of the community that brought us together. I'm going to give a huge shout out to Larry Long Jr., who did the action challenge. And we decided that, if we can take action, then we can keep doing that. If we can do it for 1 week, we can do it for all of the weeks. And so it's about really serving in whatever way I can for the community. And that's this, or that might be turning up and supporting on the second Saturdays, that sort of thing. But really, from my heart and being really authentic, 2026 is about really stepping into my awesome and reaching out with a strategy and aligned methodology to connect and be visible, to actually go out and ask for the business. I've been very lucky that I've had business come through recommendations, through word of mouth, through repeat business, which has been phenomenal. But at some point, you have to say, this is who I am, and I'm here, and go out and get. So that is what 2026 is all about for me, to say, I am here to support that re-engagement revolution. I am waving the banner. I'm ready to support HR. And you know what? I can do it because I've been there. I've been in that seat. I've been there where I've gone round to every single person in the organization with a smile on my face, and I've got back to my office, I've closed the door, and I've got tears because I am exhausted, and nobody asked me, how are you? I know how that feels. And so I'm ready to serve for 2026.
So if people want to get hold of you, how they can find you?
Well, they can certainly find me through the NSA directory, but Activate the Awesome is my website.com, activatetheawesome.com. I would love to have a conversation with anybody that feels that this is a great collaboration with regards to what they're already doing, because I don't know about you, but I love working with other people. And if there's a few of us that can all turn up to an engagement and we can go have dinner afterwards, like, I'm all in. And just hang out and really make it an experience, not just another day, at work. But also the second Saturdays in Charlotte. I don't get there as often as I would like. So 2026 is about being more present there. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody there on the second Saturday.
So before we end our conversation, I want to give shout out to Larry Long Jr. because without him, we wouldn't have been here, not just doing this spotlight, but also being accountability partner. So thank you, Larry. And thank you so much, Michelle, for spending time with us and being our speaker spotlight for this month. And thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.